beard and my hair has always been fucking jet black, so they can't go for have somebody else be ignorant with your fucking information and try to do some crazy shit to a person when it's like complected, dark complectedness off towards it's as far away on a fucking Polaroid device without standard depth, realizing that shit back then wasn't as advanced as it was now in the scouter system back when they put highway scouter shit back in 2004 and 2005. I went to Texas. It had photographs at one point in time at the SeaWorld, explaining that afterwards it was how it being able to go with fucking class of 2004 to Texas. And I understand back then it was San Antonio, Texas, where they had a riverwalk and sort of buildings that look like skyscraper, like inside skylines that look like split in the middle, like they had tarps and shit that you see in concerts hanging over sort of veils and shit that had restaurants that probably don't exist anymore because Suncoast isn't a fucking thing anymore. In 2006, Suncoast lost its fucking franchise war against FYE and Sam Goody and all those places they used to have in malls and shit. Now I understand that I have all my teeth, but my health in terms of this shit has like been worse having been had a staph infection. It fucks with your internal organs. So if you go to the hospital like I had to and gone to every fucking damn appointment that day, I always have to go to a damn appointment. And I had gallbladder surgery and had in-depth marks of, you can see like right there, looked like a shark fucking bite me or something. Via I fucking don't have an ass, so I can't go for somebody who's overweight more than I am from the time that I was at the place for 2 years. All the other stuff I logged off of and logged in so many times where like watch something else. Kind of Mario Damachi came out like in 2005 or 6 or something because I had the long sleeve. Went to the Northland back my birthday back then in 2006 and bought something brand new back then to somebody that I used to talk with back then at the GameStop, all that GameStop shit, all those receipts on this notion of having the ability to have gone places because the parents cared about me. I don't want to get fucking have the stuff in the background play because it's I've had this point out I had a mole inside my face and then you go download somebody else's like fucking video if you have YouTube Red or Premium or whatever. They show that nobody else fucking takes the videos or anything else. Moderate actives now includes messages hidden for review or remove and moderation users put in timeout or hidden. I'm not literate and I only had the ability to trim my hair because I didn't want to go have small talk and then they think you're COVID real. If you had a staph infection and your fucking finger had been scraped off and it hand was I had on either or fucking had the ability of having that done. Whoever did that hand surgery shit, the doctor from St. Luke's got ill too. From that 2019 and 20, they prescribed me some weird antibiotic fucking medicine that I had to take for a long ass time and got thin like a motherfucker from that shit. Because back when I had gallbladder, I was more heftier in terms of my arms were always thin, but body weight structure would swell up and shit. And I looked funkier without the hair, so I never liked to get a bald head because back when I originally streamed in that shit, I was more sort of like shaved off and I had to fucking actually do shit back then. I wasn't fucking as lazy as they fucking people think you fucking are. I actually had a fucking actual fucking case manager take me from and to all these appointments back then and had paid $5 for a share fare. And the doctor shit wasn't free in that if you had to pay money that you're having to go and set up an appointment 3 days before the appointment was. So you're fucking not redundant if you can do all that crazy shit. It's on my Facebook. I had talks to some people about doing that again, but I don't want to have wisdom teeth taken out and these fucking people are going to fucking torture you and all sorts of other crazy shit and think like there's a fucking mob. So that's why I don't fucking get the wisdom teeth pulled because I don't want to have somebody mess with dental work when I had perfectly fine teeth back in 2017 going into 18, but 2019 at that apartment from 2019 to 20, I got sick off having to go either from fucking Donna Rosa to fucking Overland Park to work out on a treadmill, and the ability of fucking having no notion of them doing some creepy shit to your drink if you drink something and not aware of having your name put on a drink on a debit card can fucking ruin anything if they fucking don't tell you up front that they're going to do some creepy shit to your food if you order it and fucking have the ability of having no notion of them doing that, but they said they did something to the drink and Evan drank the same shit and got sick too, maybe 2 years after that. So I don't know. It's fucking crazy how they say some crazy shit to you and you fucking have it filmed. What else more do you want to say and do? And you signed into your Facebook via the location thing, and that's why I filmed there because they kept saying effing crazy shit in the background. And that Snoopy dog was from graduation time. The other thing was 2004 with the happy face thing in a jar. Was this is grad was from 2004 or 5, and that Snoopy shit was from 2008 to 9. That had a blue polo on it. I had at Don Bosco summer school was the ability if you write grants, you can basically go anywhere fucking school wise and fucking should be able to fucking qualify for going to college if they mailed something after the fact in 2007, and in 2008 had it all processed. So it takes like a year to process it, and that's how I was told by me by the grant making association at Rock Hill Road. None of that shit can't be fucking fake because it says classified under when you put it underneath the fucking light, and all that shit's on my Facebook. It isn't a fucking lie. So why the fuck are they trying to make it seem like you're redundant if you go to a fucking hospital and all that shit's on therapy charts explaining the same creepy shit that they fucking explain now? And Tri-County realized that I had something of equivalent of the 12th grade. If I went to Park Valley and got the fucking goddamn COVID test done there and the fucking ability of being close by there for this 2 years, and it was the only way of not going back and forth to all this crazy shit that you have to go to in order to fucking have all of this shit. And it's fucking crazy how they fucking even tell you a bunch of creepy shit now after COVID's still here and it's not going to go away. I don't have COVID. It's staph infection. Anybody who's ever been to the doctors understands if you get a staph infection, it's either by the staff member not properly having the ability of cleansing whatever equipment they had that you either sit on or fucking have them sit by you and tell you something and have you check you and have the blood was basically clean back then because they said if the darkest of blood is the healthiest, and they fucking told me that shit. I don't understand why if it's still like that they can't go forth and say some creepy shit about a person. I would be all fucking different, like in disarray if my organs didn't fail. So all that shit was perfectly fucking fine. I have long fingernails because it was a cancer diagnosis back then. I even had long fingernails back then, and they can go forth and say all sorts of crazy shit, but it wasn't anything else but other than a fucking staph infection. Staph infection is either by fucking equipment. Grandpa fucking Ralph had a staph infection in 2015, and he fucking didn't realize that anybody who has that can either pass it along just by a hug or touch. So they fucking have to explain that he already had that shit back in 2015. So all those people that went to the had all that shit in whatever the fuck, he went to the hospital too multiple times in St. Luke's. He went to St. Luke's too, so they can't go forth and say some crazy shit about a person. The iris part right there had been worked on multiple fucking times because the way that it was slanted causes illness that has the ability to fucking blind your ass if it gets worse. So I had all sorts of crazy shit, and they tell me about that iris part under the fucking eye is scraped, and they put a lens and flashed some crazy shit in it in 2019. So I could have got the staph infection from going to that because somebody else had took me at the time at Universal Health and I had filmed it on something else that I never posted because I didn't want the fucking having them to tell me a bunch of crazy shit and thinking that it was fake when it wasn't fake. So I actually had that shit done, and that St. Luke's has the same doctors that Universal Health has, the fucking IA Foundation place. And back in 2016, I had the ability to get a package deal, and I didn't go for it because I didn't want to have the fucking eye scrape surgery done at all. And I was cautious about it, and that's why I get so fucking angry at these people around here thinking that shit's fraud when it isn't. And I understand you have to go through in order to fucking have the ability to even see it right. And I had the shit done to where they fucking notion of having to say all sorts of creepy shit to a person without realizing that I don't have brown fucking hair. My hair's jet black. So and it's fucking jet black and it's no other color. I never dyed it blue or red or anything else like that. So I'm not fucking insane in the men brain. That computer terminal comes from Brian Cave off the ability of fucking having the fucking out of streams and shit. Thinking that I'd be okay. I used to watch wrestling back in Camp Arena days. The Hell Arena had Trish Stratus in The Rock, and then Vince McMahon fighting over Trish Stratus, and I can't say anything awful because she was in muddy water that was contaminated. Looking back then with a broom and a bucket back then, and that was a long ass time ago. I'm still the same fucking guy at the Sprint Center wearing the green fucking Ninja Turtle shit, watching John Cena, I think, versus King, or King versus one of them before he retired, and that flame shit hits your fucking face. And they fucking go to all that wrestling shit. You realize you're gonna get tanned in that shit if you go and be close by them, and they fucking have that fucking shit go and turn on and pyrotechnics and all such crazy shit. And they used to fucking throw fireworks and shit back and forth for July time, so I'm not a serial fucking killer. So I wasn't even around anybody. When they fucking had a party, I wasn't even invited to a house party back in 2010. I was at the Roanoke Community Center. I wouldn't have a blue long sleeve on with a bunch of people that I didn't talk to. And I know the footage can be forwarded because that's all I did was back then was exercise and had fucking jobs and shit at the time and had the ability of having to work for whatever equivalent of having this creepy shit. Now all the fucking paperwork still, so they can't go forth and say anything because they fucking had illness shit that happened during COVID. So people get COVID relief fund shit for like 5 to 10,000. I'm not getting that shit, so they can't go forth and say it's fraud. Staph infection isn't COVID, and staph infection shit was even exist back in 2015 without me realizing it because that Ralph guy healed up his leg was injured by something. And they went in and put some syringe fucking surgery fucking shit got caught with something in his leg and they x-rayed it and they fucking had the ability to go back and say everybody that was at his funeral probably has a staph infection if that shit's contagious. And I went to St. Luke's, the same place where they went, and I still went there. And I fucking have the ability, the notion of going there for if they're gonna fucking turn around and be fucking like serial killers towards you guys in terms of stuff they say on the news and acts like you fucking not right themselves. So that John Oliver shit saying they had tax evasion dildo somebody off Kansas, and I don't live in Kansas, and that's why I stopped going to Kansas hospital because it was fucking 2019. I went to a gym and probably didn't have the equipment like you see, and you fucking had before COVID was actually a thing without realizing in between the time. And it was a notion of having some kind of fucking influenza shit where it's like a flu, but it wasn't the flu, and I know I didn't have COVID. So it was a staph infection. So if I was either at the gym back then, my eyes watered like a motherfucker without crying, and I had no ability to control stopping it. And I fucking had no notion of having anything else done surgical wise. In 2018, I had gallbladder. And they had the MUPS. People had MUPS at that hospital when I had my gallbladder taken out. The MUPS is when your fucking immune system gets all fucked up and you get all like puffy and shit. So I understand how they're able to fucking continue having surgeries and shit with people if they get fucking effing fucking shit that happens to them at a hospital for waiting there forever how long. And I had a sleep study there too for fucking a day. And that's right before I had that gallbladder shit because I got real ill and I had blown up like a balloon. I walked around and they say your sensation of your shoulder gives out shit. And I didn't fucking make up any of my shit because I fucking had all the fucking immune station shots and that shit done twice in Missouri and Kansas. So I had that done back then. I had the ability of no notion of having those people try to fucking make it seem like you didn't exist and you go to a hospital. You fucking have the fucking arm casting with your fucking first, last, and middle name, and it fucking has it on there. So They can't go forth and do this creepy shit. I had Leonardo sitting down at that party, and they said all sorts of like some kind of ability to have some kind of soundboard play at 4 in the fucking morning when we had ADT put in originally, and they still did that creepy shit. And they fucking have the feed of the fucking Glade plugin thing is still in our possession. So I can't go forth and be creepy because you can go back and try to blackmail them on the shit they try to do to a person. Yates guy fucking had a surrogate soundboard shit play off and tried to say that whatever footage that was existing at the fucking point in time, have you fucking going forth and human traffic people and fucking and do creepy shit to a person in terms of having no notion of doing that themselves. And they try to fucking act like it was something sort of happening. And they got fined a bunch of times for even doing that creepy shit. But I wasn't a part of anything at all. Fucking had no notion of them having the control, being able to even do something like that. And I went to Sherifer, and Sherifer didn't take me to Strange Music's fucking whatever the fuck HQ and had them explain something to me. Then if that was the case, I don't want to go nowhere near that. Thank God they didn't take me anywhere besides the hospital outside and probably freaked the fuck out because the fucking guy had face off and had that drain auction guy say some creepy shit via warehouse. And I understand all that creepy shit back then. That nobody fucking explained. You look at the side of the shit and you say that this guy wanted this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, and keeps on repeating itself. And fucking goes forth and goes to all these appointments and it's like that Ruvik fucking shit, but it wouldn't fucking do anything to my parents because that's fucked up. That fucking evil within shit was beyond fucked up. You go to the hospital visiting, you fucking get an insulin needle stabbed in you, and then fucking Lifetime should even have that crazy shit as this fucking movie fucking thing, as a feature film that all those Lifetime fucking people are fucked in the head and they get injured in that for real. Those people that act out that crazy shit. Especially those people that animate two guys kissing each other on a fucking dock boat on a tanker and keeps on repeating that fucking storyline because in Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty in the tanker part where it looks like Marisol James is communicating saying why they hijack a tanker with some kind of weird robot that turns invisible and it's a bipedal effing machine that does all sorts of crazy shit and they fucking have the ability to do all that creepy shit now that back then they probably couldn't even build a Hosmo fucking whatever the fuck robot from Honda. Should kick, I don't know, Guillermo del Toro on the balls if they're going to do this creepy shit to people. Those fuckers are weird though. They had that robot go up a fucking staircase and they fucking had the ability to do all that creepy shit, but they didn't have the notion of having it patent because they wouldn't be able to do that in real life. So fucking get detained. And the fucking crazy shit, the weather balloon shit was creepy as fuck. So it looks like the shit off Peace Walker had a white weather balloon pick up people from the destination and send them off to wherever the fuck shit. Man, Sony's fucked in the head for messing with Mexican people, and they fucking that Bella Poarch was enlisted in the military too, and they still made fun of her via Alana Pierce. The only reason why she said not to do anything to anyone, the same notion of having known that she had made fun of all sorts of creepy shit too, and that fucking Hideo had racist remarks via people in Africa with effing kids getting blown in fucking Sahara Desert lake waters and shit with grenades and shit. So they can't go forth and say I animated that because it was only towards 2017 is the long ass time after 2015 when that shit was released. So they can't go forth and make some fucked up shit after all this shit said. I can't even use the fucking hospital footage because the Yates would get jailed up. That's why I was laughing hysterically because I thought they were going to incorporate the fucking PT fucking video game with the shit with Yates or something because I didn't know what the fuck to think at the time. And they fucking explained creepy shit that I met some people back then in 2015 at the Comic-Con back then that said some notion of having me gone to surgery via the fucking blindness fucking shit, but I didn't want to go because I didn't want to know what the fuck they would tell me. I wasn't going to have a case manager take me because that back then was already messed up. If they realized that they worked at St. Luke's too and were a part of St. Luke's and that St. Luke's doctor knew one of them that took me or something and acted real irrational with the information that I gave them about having overdose at one point in time in 2014 going into 15 and because they fucking tried to deliberately tell me a bunch of creepy shit in 2016 had a trial and that's when I heard the soundboard shit about Yates being able to fucking have some weird ability to fucking find Christ via the fucking vitals of healing or whatever the fuck, terminal organs healed and didn't heal or whatever the fuck. And had the ability of them saying that creepy shit. They were looking for fucking Christ, but they can't euthanize Christ because whatever the fuck, if it was Christ, they would fucking be able to do shit that other people can't do, or be a notion of having that they can't fucking do that because if they go to another country, they can euthanize people, but they can't euthanize people in the United States. Mainly the UK would have the ability to do that shit, but even then they can't do that. Like the freaky ass Nemesis shit, where it comes after whatever the fuck in that video game. They just watch that shit, and for whatever reason they want to believe they can do that shit in real life, but they can't go forth and actually do it because there's all sorts of human violations of creepy shit that they do. Experiments on people. They say trance via 2012 at one point went for blood labs. They said they can put you in a trance via whatever the fuck type of weird shit they had. I had blue scissors from fucking KU Medical Center. Had the guy had blue scrubs on with fucking scissors in his butt crack and said to come with them, and I didn't go with them like they wanted me to, so they can go fuck themselves. I don't want to be a part of that shit. I don't understand why they're able to fucking even tell you a bunch of creepy shit and not get detained themselves. They fucking euthanized somebody that was with the fucking Olympics and he had a back concussion too, and he was perfectly okay, and they fucking euthanized him. I explained that via the fucking Mega Man shit. So why the fuck did they tell me that shit at one person I was employed by that shit? Then if they're gonna fucking try to find some weird Lucifer Christ DNA that can fucking cure whatever they already cured fucking COVID via that Isabella effing that scientist lady in California via the fucking head concussion fucking foundation. And I have this weird mark. They can tell the difference. They have a patch of skin that looks like I've been fucking shot in the forehead, so they can go fuck themselves off some creepy shit. I hear a bunch of creepy shit now because of it. Nas wrestlers would have survived the shit. I don't make fun of saying MacGyver where they fucking put them in a fucking police surveillance car and they blow the wrestlers up like that creepy MacGyver movie. And that guy from I Know What You Did Last Summer had a celery stick up his ass so fucking Joe Biden can get punched in his face or whatever fucking parody they had back then. I don't know. Fucking I Know What I Did Last Summer guy has more fucking rights than the motherfucking actual fucking police and fucking military if they have this guy with his ass cheeks hanging out with celery stick going up and down. Fucking shit. I can't do a switcheroo because I have a fucking mole or like a fucking in-depth mole, and I have like that shit that Bosch, the fucking Final Fantasy 12 character I was caged up in a motherfucking dungeon had as somebody that looks similar to him motherfucking too, and blame that motherfucker. So I don't want to play those video games. They say, hey, they're gonna do that creepy shit to you too. So that computer terminal right there belongs to a fucking law firm. So I'm explain that the notion of knowing some shit before it actually occurs is because the law firm has the ability to know shit before because they patent shit and they fucking tell you shit and they fucking have people that tell you shit. All that shit is regulated, and they fucking had that Feeney guy that used to write the scripts for all that shit back then was regulated on the fucking Bravo channel back then. There was that guy from Boy Meets World that voiced that car that was going to come to Kansas City, but I don't even want to go now to it because it's fucking eerie. This fucking guy had the ability to write knock-knock jokes and shit and say, hey, this person wrote whatever knock-knock joke, and then plagiarism that they all do. This creepy shit to a person that wrote grants and shit and then fucking had to study a Mexican holiday, and they fucking that Sony company is weird for having fucking Siphon Filter had a Mexican guy in the military back down roll around and taser people, and they fucking that was fine back then, and now it's different because they fucking are effing weird company. Here they have that Kratos looks like that Sega Saturn infomercial or that purple background where some guy has his head like Mr. Clean talking. And Sega don't sue Sony for fucking anything, so no. Notion of having to explain that I can play it on the television, but I don't want to get copyright claimed and shit because I never had a copyright guideline strike, and even somebody tries to say I have long fingernails, so even then, in 2017 going into 18, I was for Andrew here Thanksgiving or something. I had long fucking fingernails too, so I mean, nobody can really. They gonna put press on nails and act like me or something. They can't go forth and do that now, and I don't have the wisdom teeth taken out, so I ain't crazy because I went and had shit filmed that had the ability of notion that they're looking for somebody who had the ability to heal up like nothing occurred. And it was told to me by the effing people out of the hospital. So if you had all about or fucking shit that had marks like looked like a shark bit you on a beach or something, then they can't go forth and say something else because why the fuck did they give me that surgery if that was like they just wanted the fucking insurance money and swindle you like that Spoony one guy didn't care if the insurance company fucking swindled his ass and Angry Joe didn't fucking bail him out. So I don't understand why the guy was racist towards Mexicans and hung around this Mexican guy that was like Puerto Rican that had a war veteran family too, and he doesn't get fucking fined or jailed up or anything. I never made fun of the wrestlers. It's fucking I didn't make MacGruber. I didn't fucking screenwrite fucking some guy having those guys in the surveillance thing and then blew up the wrestling van. So all that shit, they can't go forth and make fun of a person who's fucking had all sorts of crazy surgeries from 2015 onward. So they can't go forth and even tell you anything because they fucking have a bunch of crazy shit that's posted on fucking social media about all that crazy shit they show on social media about those people that act and stuff. There's so much stuff on them. They can't go forth and say anything bad about anybody. So they do all sorts of creepy shit. Those acid pour, they can't go forth and say anything else. They fucking wasn't on anything. The ability of notion of having shit credited. Fucking try to discredit somebody and it still looks like the photograph. They didn't have fucking hairs on their fucking arms. I don't have brown hair. I don't have a fucking beard with brown hair. I don't have brown hair. Jet black. So I don't understand why the fuck they even doing it. I don't even dye my hair fucking colors and that shit. And they know they don't fucking have wigs and makeup and shit. So they can't go forth and say if and weird crazy shit about a person anyway. If they fucking have no bad notion of having anything done towards anyone, if they fucking try to be creepy with you, then that's on them. Like that Lifetime movie had people that were in the music industry getting trafficked out by people that tried to sign them, acting like they could sign them to a music track, and they would fucking pimp the women out of the music track and pay the women to be pimped out in the music videos, and then you never see them again. So that was on Lifetime. So all that shit you can watch on TV, and I would. I didn't do anything wrong anyway, so I wouldn't be able to go to a fucking doctor or having them talk to me in the first place. They had a bunch of people like come and visit you by the doctors, meaning the case manager that fucking had Bethheimer, that Josh and Anthony, all three visited me during the day up until like fucking 7. And they closed the fucking shit down for COVID at the North Tri-County place where we moved to. And I got my fucking shit, so they can't go forth and say anything fucked up about a person. If you have an equivalent of it even then, and they still have to bullshit with you and try to fucking be wrong with you, fucking have the notion of gone and got the COVID test at a place that wasn't fucking the ability of notion that Park Valley isn't welfare fucking insurance if you fucking had no notion of knowing that they can't go forth and say that if fucking Park Valley is this regular fucking universal fucking like college and shit. So all the proof of that shit's on there. So on Facebook, I'm still on there. So if I did something wrong, they would have fucking deleted me off. I have no notion of having them. They tell you a bunch of creepy shit anyway, and they can't go forth and say anything or discredit you if you haven't fucking done anything. I'm not fucking having a bunch of kids jumping on the fucking bed. Notion of having the real fucking ADT footage is compares different from what those fuckers try to tell you.